The Cavalier difficulty rewards don't seem to be very good. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome back to the second video of today. Let's just get into this, shall we? Yes, what we're going to do is going to look over these Cavalier rewards and compare them off from what some statements that Kabam were making, that they've taken into consideration stuff from forum posts, Twitter posts and stuff like that, and see if it does actually match up with that particular statement. And as well, take a little bit of an idea of what players are experiencing from seeing this, whether or not they feel that Kabam have not really kind of listened, whether or not they've gone a different route with this stuff. We're going to have all that stuff we're going to go over in this particular video. So initially, Kabam want to point out that the difficulty will be high. It won't be a breeze, so it's not going to be easy. If this is going to be something on the level of, say, a variant, where even with a 5-star, if you have a block, you're still eating a chunk of damage, I would say that would be what to experience from a difficulty level. Although you would say, sort of compare this to how it should be of 6.1.6. which is sort of similar to that, but not exactly. The rewards themselves seem to be geared towards, or the completion seems to be geared towards, 5 stars being at rank 5, which doesn't really kind of point out about signature level. In some cases, signature level can be quite important, especially with a lot more signature stones needed to be thrusted into the game, which we have seen with the Herald difficulty and Herald of Galactus stuff this month. Now, my big concern is this also goes into the territory, as I said, this seems to be like advertising somewhat of a variant. Variants are very specific in nature, how they're built. And yes, there's small buffs, but imagine it like variants, but no positive buffs to certain champions, especially with certain counters being so specific for the Cavalier difficulty. As it says here, exploring the Cavalier difficulty would require either a fair amount of skill, a wide range of ranked up champions, or a lot of power. So rank 3 6 stars all the way, my friends. Now, in a new spin, it seems that Kabam have slotted in path rewards. So similar to things like we've seen in the Act 6, we've seen in those Northern Explorations, which we might see, Northern Expeditions even, and we may be, well, seeing the chess side of things, which are going to be seen in the next couple of days. They seem to have that in mind, especially if players will struggle to do things like completing chapters, exploring chapters, rather saying like, okay, well, it's all about 100%ing it. I don't know if this is one of those things or times where we go back in time to come forward in time. We go back in time because we remember the first time that Uncollected was put in. If anybody doesn't remember that, it was a time where it was very difficult to even get your roster to the strength that you could actually do chapter 1 or chapter 2. However, though, in this case, if I believe and remember rightly, Kabam did say that Cavalier was meant to be that slight step up. Not a massive jump, but a slight step up from the likes of just getting the Uncollected titleage to then getting the Cavalier titleage. That's, you know, Act 6 in a nutshell. Whereas becoming a, well, I can't remember what if it's Conqueror to then come to Uncollected, seems like a massive jump for going from there to there. But, you know, things change. Emphasis on what is meant to be difficult, skill levels and other things do vary. So are you going to say that you're going to only be able to do the first chapter? Maybe it's meant to be like that, but I don't know if it should be advertised in that way of saying like, look, you know, you might struggle here. Because I don't think the game's meta has shifted to that, but I could be wrong. On screen at the moment is the rewards. Now, the rewards as follows. They lack in certain areas. There's some good things, but also there are some bad things about this. What a Cavalier difficulty was meant to achieve is very difficult. And again, based on what we just said about the idea of like, look, what is this meant to be based on from a reward structure? Is this meant to be based on 6.1.6? That's the tough one. From the feedback, which we'll talk about in a moment, and the creation of players, I'd say, what's the word? Ambitious, hopeful, and, well, coming in line with what we'd want as player bases, it's not really there. The Tier 2 Alpha, for me personally, is a bit of a letdown, especially from the rewards from a completion standpoint, and as well exploration. I'm finding now I need more Tier 2 Alpha than ever. And the gold side of things nowadays is a higher volume of gold is required. 370k just doesn't cut it. I know that we've got incursions, but 370k gold, it's just not enough. For me, it would need to be like 1 mil, especially as you find yourself running out of gold left, right and centre. The 5-star shard side of things, I don't know if that overly plays into the building of a 5-star roster, as that would be something you would go, right, nowadays, that's just one of those class crystals, those dual class crystals, and it's gone. One other burning thing for me is the 10% of a tier 5 class catalyst crystal. Obviously, it is not specific. It's a case you take a pot luck of getting 10%. The biggest question will be if the difficulty is in line with something, say, like a variant, which you get now, as of last month, a higher yield of rewards, which was brilliant to see. But will the level of difficulty be comparable to that? And as well, will it be something that down the line Kabam could look at this and go, do you know what? This Cavalier difficulty isn't a breeze, it is more difficult. And the stuff you get back from it, should we be aligning it with the likes of Variant 5 or Variant or future variants when it comes to reward structure? I'm not saying that we should have an Awakening Gem. I'm just talking about the volume of Tier 5 class Catalyst. But don't worry, Kabam want you to test your skills by just using a 4-star against all those really overpowered 6-stars. What? Slightly hypocritical when you think about the fact you're not allowed to use 4-stars in Act 6 in order to get the Cavalier title, but using 4-stars in the confines of, well, doing this objective is part of it. So that's funny, isn't it? But the fact is, it is going to be a little bit difficult, especially if you're going up against 6-stars. I don't think it will be too bad for the path clearing, but if you have to then do the boss fight, is the boss fight going to be so overpowered it's going to be literally frustrating, and you will find yourself spending those units in order to use revives to get you through the stuff. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, more tier 5 class catalyst please. You got to work hard for it. It's going to cost you more than you think. So slight thumbs up for a good idea for a challenge, but at the same time, at what cost? At what cost? I mean, for me, I'd love to see something, especially for new Cavalier players that maybe have restricted rosters, the idea that they can use stuff like rank 4 5-stars. That would be a nice compromise for this, as it's all about the improvement and cultivation of a 5-star roster, not about your 4-star roster, it seems. So, yeah, the 4-star roster, it's important now. Who would have thunked it? As we know, the Cavalier difficulty has been met with some backlash based on those rewards. Kabam Mika has responded just to this whole situation, saying, thanks for the feedback. We built these rewards with a few things in mind. This needs to be sustainable moving forward to help. It needs to help players strengthen their rosters, and it needs to be what players were asking for. These rewards were designed with your feedback. We looked at forum threads, videos, tweets, and had conversations with players. In most cases, these rewards exceeded what reasonable summers had been asking for. Also, please keep in mind that we've already announced the new legendary difficulty for side events. That will also be a new permitted future fixture of the contest. Right, so it's at this point, what we've got to do is we've got to look back at what players were given feedback-wise when it comes to what they'd expect from the Cavalier rewards. Because that's going to be a key thing, like how much have Kabam derailed from what has been said by the player base. Okay, on screen at the moment, let's do a bit of a comparison. First of all, we got this player on 6th of June, comparing it off with on the left, which, look, let's face it, most of that is actually correct, except the 5-star Nexus, that's not there. Would have been great to see a lot more of the volume of 5-star shards, of course. The volume of tier 5 class Catalyst, unfortunately, has been restricted for that solo objective, which I'm not a massive fan of, as you know. The tier 2 alpha situation isn't there. A fully formed tier 5 basic is not there. There are things that are lacking, which a lot of players seem like they want to see. Here's another player that would be more impressed by what they see, it seems. So where's the comparison there? It's not there. Players' expectations seem to be very difficult to actually swing. And this player wanted to see more of an emphasis on the tier 5 class Catalyst, even it being a selector. Not to forget stuff like, well, I think Awakening Gems are a bit much because it's never been something in these type of things. The volume of 5-star shards, tier 2 alphas like fully formed. Yeah, a lot of this stuff isn't really in this particular reward structure. Okay, so on the comparison side of things, it's actually close to what players were given feedback-wise. But granted, there are some things missing. And this is the problem about the specific nature as to what players will feel they individually are lacking on. For me, it's all about gold lacking, tier 2 alpha lacking, 5-star shards lacking, and tier 5 class catalyst lacking, especially on the point of view that I have now got to do something that it's extra work that I've now got to put in, which is, I understand you've got to work hard for stuff. I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't want to have that extra kind of stress of going, hey, I've now got to take my entire 4-star roster, the strongest ones, and I'm going to do a single path, and as well potentially go up against a 6-star at a high rank with some difficult nodes that is literally going to melt me the second I decide to do one parry, and I feel punished for this. So I guess, yeah, this is for a overly skill-based person, rather than Muggins here that's going to be using a few revives in order to get this done. So yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot more time in arena in order to do that. But I guess that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. In any case, that has been more of a deep dive on this kind of Cavalier difficulty, comparing it off against some previous predictions and as well thought process and feedback to Kabam on this from post and prior to the rewards being announced. Have your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do try and be respectful to one another, and as well I would urge people to give feedback on the forum post as well, because it will help out. Fingers crossed, if something is like this that gets put out, that Kabam may go down the line, even look at the feedback and go, look, we might have to change some stuff, players aren't happy. So yeah, put your feedback on that forum post, links are in the description for it. And well, good luck everybody when it comes to this content dropping midweek. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and do some Summoner Showdown briefly, and then get into doing some live streaming over on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live, so go and support over there. And yeah, don't forget to check out the Marvel Contest of Champions news posted today, and as well some other content over the left hand side. I do want to do some spotlight videos and incorporate some comic book history, so they're going to take a little bit longer to edit, and I will make them tomorrow, so look out for those videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.